Beginners, I'm so glad to have you guys here, and I hope I inspire and teach you something new and just continue to expand your palette. So what you'll need, guys, basically is just a couple of head pens, or you can also use craft wire to accomplish this. I was going to use this in the green, actually, and it's a 20 gauge, and you can make your components out of eye pens, meaning this component here that we're going to attach on our chain. You can use head pens, eye pens, make your own eye pens out of the craft wire. You can wire wrap it. You can use 18, 20, 22 gauge, something like that, for the components. You want them to be a little bit stiffer, so I wouldn't probably go any further than that down the scale of craft wire. I would go 18, 20, 22. And this is a 20, and it's in a really beautiful deep green. And what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to try to wire wrap it. It's a little tough to wire wrap on this chain, but if not, I'll just do a simple loop, and we're going to connect it that way. You just need a few beads, and then for my dangles, I'm going to use some head pins that are in silver, ball end head pins that are in silver. And they are 24 gauge, super easy to wire wrap, and we'll pull a few of our select beads to make a dangle on the bottom. This also is going to slip over the head, guys. I'm going to adjust you a little bit. So this is going to be slipping over the head, so we're not going to use any clasp, but you certainly could use a clasp if you wanted to. And let me just get this pretty much out of the way. I'll keep it a little bit over there in camera. So we'll need some round nose, or if you've got some looping pliers, that'd be fine. You need some cutters and just a few beads. As I said, some craft wire, your head pens, and then of course some chain. You can use any chain you want. I used Figueroa over here in the copper. I'm going to use the 5mm curb chain here, and then a ruler. You'll need a ruler to go ahead and cut your chain, which I have already done, and you can make this any length. And so I'll give you basically like a bit of a tutorial, just like kind of the gist of it, how to put something like this together, and then you can put your own spin on it. They're really fun to get creative with. So what I did was, I will give you my exact measurement on this one. On this particular one that I'm working on right now, I have 12 plus another 8, which is 20, and 20 is 40. So this one, I have 40 inches of chain. Now, what I'm going to do, for this to slip over the head, I've already done my measuring, and then if we need to trim from at the bottom, we can. What I'm going to do, and if you want to slip over the head, it just, you'll have to give and take in terms of your measurements. Everybody's, is different. But what I'm doing is basically going to take my ends and of my chain here, and I'm going to line them up and make sure that they're, pretty much at least like 2 inches apart right here. And then I am going to go to the top of my chain here, put that on the ruler, and this needs to be basically 13 inches. So there's 12 and then 13. So right here, right around here, I'll put my head pin in there, is where I can start my components, because this area right here will slip over the head, so that's about 25, 26 inches to slip over the head comfortably. And so I'm going to start right here, and so that's how you kind of get it started if you don't want to put a clasp on. And then I have my little components here that we're going to do. And let's get this party started here. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to keep my head pin here. That's where my first component's going to go. And on this one, I want to try something that I have not done. As many of these I've made, I have not done something with 3 components, staggered, which I want to try and see how that looks today. And that's exactly what we are about to get into. So I have these 2 that are the same, and then this one. And the one thing that I will mention, guys, is you want to make sure that your little components that you're going to make that are going to go like, in between your chain, your component. If you're making more than one, you want to make sure that they're going to be like the same width. Now, they don't have to be. You could also stagger it down, kind of like an upside down pyramid. Could do that too, which I think that's what's going to happen here, because this one's a smidge a smidge smaller, but we'll see how my wire reps go and what happens with our length. So with that said, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work right from the spool of my wire. And I'm just going to warm it up between my fingers here. You can use your nylon jaw if you've got them. And I'm going to go ahead and cut probably about a 6-inch piece. I'm just going to cut that off. And now I am going to make sure that I'm flush cut on both ends. That's important. So I'll nip that right there. Okay. And so then what I want to do, like I said, is I want to attempt to wire wrap this directly to my chain. If it doesn't work, then we'll just do a simple loop. So I'll use my looping plier today, guys. You can use your round nose. If you're using your looping plier, you're just going to give yourself a little bit of room to make your wraps. And I just want to do like 2 wraps, so I don't need much room. So I'm just going to kind of go down about, it's about 1.5 inches or so. And this is how my pliers look. So the round portion here is facing down, and the little half moon portion of the looping plier is on the top. And then what I'm going to do is just put my wire in between it, and I'm just going to squeeze down on my plier, and I'm going to take this small wire and I'm just going to wrap it around just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to twist my plier like this, and then I'm going to continue to pull that wire around. So I have my L, and there is my loop, and I can remove it. Okay, super easy. And then what I need to do is actually let me grab some chain nose. We need to pop that loop open since I want to try to wire wrap it directly on my chain. So I'm going to pop that loop open, and then I can see right where I'm at here. And I am going to put my chain directly on my wire, let it fall on my loop. Now I am going to close that loop. And then I'm just going to push this wire around like twice. Wrap it around that. We don't really need much of a wrapping situation. 2 times will do it. Let me straighten my loop out here. And I didn't really even need that big of a loop either, but apparently that's what I did. And then we'll trim the excess. And tuck that in. And so there's that. And now I'm going to go ahead and feed my beads on. And so on the top, I want one of these guys with the big, huge, cool crackle glass beads. I've had those for years. I pulled those deep out of my stash from, they're from Joann's. I love these beads. They're so beautiful. I've had them for years, probably 15 years, but I just love them. And I thought they would be really pretty with the green here. And so that's what I've got, just like that. Okay, and so now we're going to repeat the process on the other side. And notice I kept my head pen over here so that I know which loop to put my component through right now. So we'll do the same thing. We will just put our pliers with that half concave portion on the top. We're going to have that on the top of our plier facing down. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to put that over the wire, and I'm going to squeeze it. I'm going to pull that wire around. Now I'm going to rotate my looping plier away from me. I'm going to then take this wire and continue to bring them around to make my loop. Right, there's my loop. Once again, if you need to pull it and straighten it out, that is fine. I am going to now pop my loop open. And now we are going to feed it right on our chain. So there we go. And let that fall right into my chain there. And then I'll close my loop back up. And which one am I going? Wrong way, John. And just going to wrap that around twice. And straighten it out a little bit there. And we'll trim the excess. And then we'll tuck in that burr. And now we're at least anchored here at the top, and we can move down the line from here. So we don't need to really use the head pin to mark that first section anymore. And that looks really cool, by the way, with that green wire. You just want to kind of make sure that you're not all twisted up. I think I'm good. Looks good to me. Okay, and so now, as you can tell, let me continue to push this up here so you're in camera. You can tell, you know, here's my bottom. And so I want to be mindful of my spacing now. And again, this is all a design aesthetic. That's why I wanted to jump on and do a cool long chain necklace with the components like this, a bar necklace, call it what you want, because there's just really no rules, guys. It's just a really fun, super easy necklace to put together, and you can have so much fun with it and just make it your own. So that's exactly what we're doing here, and I think this is just such a cool design. So we'll grab another piece of the green wire here, and I'm going to pull it again right off the spool. And I'm going to cut that off. Again, about something like a 5-6 inch piece, something like that. Make sure I'm flush cut on both sides. And then, again, straighten out your wire. You can use your nylon jaw, work hard at it a little if you need to. And now I need to decide where the next guy's going to go. So let me just make my loop. And then we'll open that loop up. And I'm actually going to grab a piece of wire, guys. I'm going to make one more since we need one more component, just so I can lay them out and kind of decide where I want them to go. So might as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right there. And slide that chain right on into that loop. And now we will close that loop. And let's just wrap that around. And I think we were doing it twice. And that was a terrible wrap. But we can always fix that by smushing it, that's for sure. Just smush that down there. And then I'm going to put this one in the center, so I'll feed my beads on. let's see where that needs to go. So we need to count 7 links. Now we just have our head pins, and then we have this down here, and this is where we can just, again, be really super fun, decide where do we want things to go, and there are no rules, guys, no rules. Let's see here. So I definitely, I think that's just, I definitely think it's just a smidge long. I think I need to do just a smidge trim in here. Doesn't have to be the same as the other one, but I'm just thinking, I wonder, what do I have there? About 4 inches. Huh? See, that one is 4 inches. Yeah, this one feels like it needs to be cut just a little bit. But because I did a triple here, I feel like I'm going to cut it just a smidge. And I'm going to cut it about right there. I'm just eyeballing it just by the way I want it to look. So there's that. And then we will go ahead and let's do these guys. So I was thinking of just putting like 4 of these on here, and then I want to wire wrap them directly to the chain. So again, I don't want to use any jump rings. That was another thing I didn't want to do, because it just provides a weak point. And so I thought I will just, you can, it's fine. And your jump rings are good so long as you're closing them right, but I just thought I would maybe not use a jump ring. So this one is like kind of like a longer component. And I'm just going to eyeball to see, does it look right? Yeah, I think it looks. But we've got 3 different components. And if I pull it out, there you go, that's how long it is. I think we said it's about 40 inches. And so I'll pull all of that chain up there. That slips right over the head. And I'll have to put on an angle so you guys can see. And there we go. That's what we've got for that one. And that's what that one looks like. So I think that looks really, really cool. I really do. I think that she's going to be really super happy with that. I think it's a really interesting look too. And it's really fun too. So, and it's kind of almost lightweight and not quite minimalist, but it's dancing in that area. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching today, and I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day, and you will try the simple, easy chain necklace yourself. And until next time, friends, be blessed.